Gimli Glider, my first PTFS crash movie, and there was so much that went into producing this project. So today, I'm gonna go ahead and pull back the curtain, showing you the production secrets and bloopers. I'm MrBullsFan, and let's rewind to 2021. You see, I've always wanted to make a PTFS movie since 2021, and I had my eyes always on Air Canada 143. And even though I kept poking at the idea, going as far as writing the entire script by copying the Mayday episode, and asking friends for help, I never actually made any effort to start. Until November 12, 2023, where I sent an announcement to my video helpers that we were actually doing this thing. So boom, bam, yikes, edit, and we're done. Phew! What an easy video. I'm obviously kidding, so let's just go ahead and go through how it was made. After the previous pilots landed at Montreal, i.e. Perth, you can notice an A380 in the background even though the movie's plot took place in 1983. Thanks to these commenters here for noticing that, and to be honest, I'm not even sure what I was thinking. Well, it did not really affect the story that much. I should have gotten planes like the 727 and 747 instead of the modern jumbos to better fit the movie timeline. When the ground crew Flure was doing his cockpit checks, the FQIS light goes on. This was created in DaVinci Resolve by putting an adjustment clip with a similar color to the 3D cockpit, cropped on top of the actual footage, and making it go on and off via gaps in the editing. This remains throughout the entire movie.
Air Canada Flight 143, cleared for departure on runway 36 right.
You do not actually want to see the voiceover outtakes for this one.
Cleared for departure on runway 36. God damn it.
And a fun fact, when making films like this inside of PTFS, it's really difficult to read your lines and also act the scene. Most YouTubers like myself just separate the two and add them together in post-production. The title screen, as cool as it was quite simple. By creating a shadow of the 767 as it passed by, I could overlay it on top of the text, in which I could just play around with the crop timing to create the effect. While we're doing the cabin scenes, however, this happened. What the hell?
Oh.
Yeah, it's a funny blooper, and we were actually doing this live with my fans in my Discord server, joined by the way, and when we were trying to get the plane back in the air, we accidentally left some people. Whoops. Kinda explains why there's actually nobody in the cabin. Now, as it's based off an actual event, I tried really hard to replicate it as best as possible to the actual accident back in the 80s. So aspects like the characters Bob Pearson, Maurice Quintel, and Rick, to the order of the engine shutting down, etc. Even when the plane goes off the radar, that happens too, in which I just created that by using a custom radar dot and some beep sounds on top of the Grindelberg radar circle for the effect. Oh look, it's a MrBullsFan sighting. Anyways, for this scene, when Bob and Maurice put the gear down, the rear gear had successfully deployed and the front gear had not. I got tons of comments on how I actually did it in the main video, and most of it, to be honest, was editing. Now the actual crash scene, it was all inside of PTFS, and more on that later, but in the air with PTFS limitations, it isn't possible. What I did though is I took clips at the same camera position, one with gear and one without. Now if I were to, let's say, just crop the two together via the rear gear like this, and boom. Speaking of PTFS limitations, there's actually more with this famous side slip.
Well, I guess I'll slip it.
In the actual event, I mean, it's a scene of beauty, but in PTFS, yeah. Now the best way I could possibly suggest to recreate it is to use advanced mode and have your mouse control one way, in the case in your left, while using your D key for your rudder. For the movie, however, I had Bob, i.e. Noodle, do it while I sat in the cabin for filming. I tried to position the camera on the side as a way to showcase the front gear again not working, but because of PTFS limitations, I tried to cover the rear ones. Look, with what I was given, it was probably the best I could have done, but given the potential, I just didn't feel like it was my best work. It's my first movie, so obviously there's a lot to learn, but I felt like I should have done a lot better. Hey, we move on though. After the whole race scene, which in fact again happened in real life, 2 more MrBullsFan sightings, and the whole barbecue sauce joke.
Hey Andrew, pass over that barbecue sauce.
Got it.
It's time to go! Ah yes, there's a lot to explain with this scene. Let's go ahead and start with the kid, in which he should be riding a bike, but there's no bikes in PTFS. So I kinda had to get the second best thing. For the plane itself, the front gear effect still plays on. Now this is something you can actually do in PTFS. So let's say I'm approaching the UFO testing airfield and I have a Boeing 767. By pitching the nose down and deploying the gear at just the right time, you have the front gear stuck in the ground while the rear gear is still intact. And voila, there's the effect. I will say though, it's very difficult to pull off, seen by the countless times I tried to do it, and even abducting some people. So, anyways, now it's time for the investigation. Woo! That is like the most lamest woo I've ever done. So for the new studio, investigation room, and plane belly, all were custom made sets built by my video helpers, Noodle and Connor. The investigation room itself contains a central table showcasing the actual route of Air Canada 143, some stupid calculations to represent the whole conversion fiasco done by the pilots, and oh yeah, MrBullsFan with 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, this investigation room was created in 2021 by Noodle, and look how far we've gotten ever since then. And finally, the plane belly built by Connor was a recreation of these computer servers in the missile style badge on St. Barth's. If you were to look very closely during the 2 news reports that Uniques and Patron did in the lower third, in real life events that also occurred on July 23rd, 1983, like George Ark passing away, or fictional events like Tom Luciano founding Flure Airlines, and me posting my 25k dares video on December 30th. And there we have it, that's how I made Gimli Glider. Yes, I do believe we had some issues here and there that I think the team and I can clean up, and because of the amazing, overwhelming support for my first ever film, I'm down to make another. I don't know what's next, but stay tuned by subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications. But I'm MrBullsFan, and as always, take flight. See ya!